folks, and welcome back. We're at the Human Comedy. We're doing the 1 hour challenges, and ultimately this video is an hour long. It is Deep Forest Raceway. We can use any road car, any racing car. It can be professionally tuned, and we are using the Subaru WRX Group B road car on hard racing tyres. It's an unusual PP today at 620, and we're coming in at 619.46, so we've got 91 power restriction. We've reduced it by 9%. We've got 55 kilograms of weight, racing slotted discs. I think that was it, but you can double check that by pressing pause and running through it. As I say, it's unusual. We've got a full tank of gas, and this, by the way, folks, is a punt. I'm trying to do something slightly different, and you can just see us there moving the power between the front and rear wheels to 30-70, because we're going to experience, and I know this because I've run 3 laps just to make sure the setup was good and it catches cars. Ultimately, the front tyres are going to wear greater in this one, so if we can't throw brake balance to the front, because I generally don't think I actually put the brake balance controller on the car, I actually just did what it needed, ultimately. So controls will be traction control 1, default ABS, everything else off. And this is it, folks. We're up against the right plethora of vehicles, but the challenge is to have a race. And I could have gone for a multitude of cars. There's a number on the video, online in videos that show you how to do this in the quickest time. But I don't want to be out front. I want to be pushing the gun. I want to generally be having a race. So here we are. We're started in 12th place, which is, again, is quite unusual for this type of event. You normally start in 16th or 20th. And we're getting a bit of a push and a shove, folks. We're getting shoved about here. So we will find out on the left-hand side there that there is a 5-second penalty, half a second penalty if you shortcut that little bit of turf, because we're in a rally car and it likes to take the bumps and the rough. But the aim is to race to the front. So I've got no idea what the strategy is. I'm hoping for a 33% strategy, so that'd be 20 minutes, pit in, tyres and fuel, hopefully, but I don't really know what we're going to do. Lap time, we'll find out at the end of the lap time, and that will give us a rough guess on how many laps we get done. Could have done the Alpha 155, we've just overtaken him there. We could have used that car very clearly, seen that one done before. Easy win on this race, but we don't want easy, we want a challenge, we want to take it to the front, we want to do something different. We've just gone past the R34. We're going to blow down the hill here and hopefully take that Porsche, that Cayman. Looks like a GT3 Cayman. Might well be. And what's this? They'll tell us when we go past it. It's a Nissan Silvia Spec R Aero S15 touring car, and we're coming up behind the old Supra GR, and we're up to 5th place already, folks. That's quite impressive. I do love that little trill on the old dump valve. So we've done a lap and it says 15 laps. Tyres fronts are already showing wear after 1 lap. We're on hards as well. That's quite telling. A couple of these corners you have to get down to 2nd gear, maybe even 1st gear as the tyres start to wear. You can cut that corner quite happily as we get down here to this corner. This one's always caught me a little bit. Get a little bit of a slide going on here, you punt that inner barrier, and if you miss that inner barrier you can punt that wall on the right hand side. It's no great drama. I often get lost going through here because I'm not focusing on where the exit of the tunnel is. If there's no car in front of me, it just looks black to me as we drive into it, and I end up on the wrong line 9 times out of 10. You'll see that as we go through. There we are, we're up to 4th place. There's 2nd and 3rd in front of us. And we've got Mr. Inostra out front running 136s. And generally don't know what he's driving. I can't see him at this point. He's out of sight. He's some 8 seconds ahead. If we get an understanding of what it is he's driving, we could work out whether we can catch him. But let's see. 8.7 seconds ahead of us. As we start to get past this boy, we might be able to catch, but he's as we slow into the corner there. This was it 650S. We've actually got it with the legs. Get past it. Yeah, we're past, and then there's a Alpine. Is that a 110 in front of us? Through this corner, back down first for this one. Power on. We're keeping it on power setting 1 because if we can aim for 20 minutes in, we're doing 134 laps, so a minute and a half for 20, it'd be 15 laps. So our fuel measure is targeting 20 minutes, so we'll be out of fuel with, I don't know what, 20 minutes gone. We'll need to refuel, so that'll be the target. So 20 minutes at that point, and then potentially 20 more minutes for another refuel, but we'll see. So we're up on our purple sector time, and the guy at the front is 8.7 seconds ahead, so we're not pulling him in. He's just heading off down the hill now. I don't think we're going to see him again. No, looks like he's away. 9.3 seconds away, so yeah folks, I generally think we're not going to catch that guy. We've got to wait on a ridiculous fuel strategy from him, or he might be on softs. That could actually be it. He's running softs and away. That would be nice that he has to pit more often than we do, but we'll see. As I say, I don't know what car it is. It could be an R35 maybe. 4-wheel drive, got quite a bit of grunt, quite weighty, could be consuming a lot of fuel, and on slicks and might need to be making more stops. So we've got just under 80% fuel, 12.9 laps to go. That would put us on 17 laps, which wouldn't be a bad deal for the first 20 minutes if that's the case. It's clearly looking like a 2-stopper. Ideally we don't want to put, well, I don't know. We're definitely going to have to fill up a couple of times. I don't think we can 1-stop it. What happens if we were to reduce fuel, I wonder? Could we actually run it longer and flick onto a single stopper? I don't know. We're not catching the guy at front. He's still pulling it out. He's at 9.1. Yeah, 9.1 ahead, and we're just keeping up with this. It looks like an Alpine, or have I got it totally wrong and it's actually an AMG 63? No, I think it's an Alpine. We'll know in a sec when we go past him if and when we can catch him. What we have got is a standard road gearbox, so we've got 5 gears. We're going to go past him now, aren't we? There we go. It's an Alpine A110, there we go. So not a bad call. And then into second gear for this corner. He's going to come back up the inside, give me a shiv, force his way past. Well, that's a bit rude. And he pushed us right wide. And he's running a real big rear wing, isn't he? We're going to go up his inside and give it him back. Just give him a nice little tap, see if we can put him onto the grass. Give him another tap just to say thank you, run him around the outside. We're going to just run on the grass a little bit with 2 wheels, keep him honest. It'd be nice to be able to put him into the wall, actually. Sometimes I feel like doing that, only because they're AI, but we must be clean. If there's a wall that we can put him in, we'd do it, because we know he's only artificial intelligence, but seriously, if we're going to racing against humans, we wouldn't do it, but there's a nice little sticky out wall down here that we could put him into, but we're going to take him on the straight, hopefully clear him by the next day, hairpin, and we're away. Let's have a look at the time. Guy up front, Mr. Inostra, is some 9.7 seconds ahead of us now, which doesn't look too friendly, does it? How far back's Mr. Breyer? Too far back to catch now. Oh, we've just overshot that apex a little bit, so front tyres showing wear. Not actually as much as I expected. 11 laps to go of fuel. 69%, so just below 70. Genuinely looks like we're going to get 15 laps in. We're running slightly more fuel, it looks like, when we're not in the slipstream of the car in front. Still don't know who's up front other than Mr. Inostra, 11.14 seconds ahead. So he's pulling out a second on us a lap, really. But we've done alright, we've gained 11 places. So in terms of whether I think we're going to win, we know because you're watching the video and I've come first. We know that, but let's not spoil the surprise. The question is, how big a victory can we get, or can we? Well, we know we have, but can we settle this with a good one? Or is it going to be an interesting one? Questions all the way to the end. Yesterday's race was more about getting the fastest lap. At the minute, a 1:34.233 to Mr. Nostra, and we've done a 1:34.637. The car's a little bit out of control with slipping and sliding. The Alpine is still with us. He's less than a second away, so I can't discount him. He might be coming back, you know. Should we have a little gamble? In what lap will be the first car to do a pit stop, we wonder? Although we won't see those behind 8th place, we can have a little splutter on who's going to pit first. The ideal for me would be number 1, position 1, Mr. Inostra, whether he is going to actually pit in. That would be great for us if he does. Look at that, that's interesting. You see how we're coming down the hill with the actual foot flat to the ground? It said fuel consumption 0-0. And that looked like when we were on the boost. So let's just watch that as we come into this corner. That was a slightly interesting thing. No, staying constant now. It's dropped to 9.6. As we lift off, it's back up to 9.7. So it is measuring the fuel. Oh, my word. See the back end go then? Oh, no. That's brought the Alpine back into contention. That was an unexpected turn of events. And we are some now almost 14 seconds behind the lead car. We've lost a rhythm, which is very good. The car's sliding. Tyre wear on the right hand side is clearly more than on the left, but we're in a left-handed circuit, so that's always going to be the case. We've just handed the opportunity back to the Alpine to keep with us, so not great. Got to clean these laps up if we're going to get anywhere near the guy at front. We're on the 7th lap now. We are running a second and a half slower than the fastest car on the track. He's out to 14 seconds. Also, what we don't know is the length of the pit lane here, how long it's going to take. Let's have a look at the pit lane as we go down the hill. Let's see, yeah, it's a long one there. We should be entering the pits quite swiftly. I wonder if we can keep on the gas and full bore it into the pit lane. That'd help us out, I think. One advantage we'll gain is going much faster than the AI into that pit strategy. Another lap down. With the incident just round this corner, we were a second slower than our average. We were running 134s and then all of a sudden we've slipped into 136s, so it might have been a benefit to be running in the slipstream of the Alpine. That seemed to have kept us honest. We did 3 laps at 134 and then we've slipped 2 seconds back to 136, so that's not really healthy. 14.5 seconds lead behind the lead car on the 8th lap. And we're looking like we're coming down at 50% fuel, so that'll give us 16 laps in the bag if we can get round before the end. So 15 laps would be good within 20 minutes. I don't think we're actually going to be there because we're at 47, so 7 minutes left to go. We're actually going to be quite comfortably inside that. So if the front tyres can last, we could be at a single stop, which would be interesting. We're actually running a lot longer than I anticipated. 15 laps, minute and a half, 22.5 minutes, which should take us to like another 10 minutes or so. Interesting. It would take actually another 13 to be honest, which would take us to 34 minutes, which will mean in reality, as we clear this maths bit up that I seem to be having enormous trouble with, would mean we'd have to fill up again at the 37 minutes gone. We'd have to fill up again at like 49 minutes gone and splash and dash it for like 6 laps. So it'd be a 2-stopper with a splash dash at the end, which I don't know whether it's actually worth pitting after 20 minutes and taking on less fuel, or letting the car run out of gas. Don't take as much fuel as you need to get to the splash and dash point, or do you have to take all the fuel? Oh, maths, as I'm driving, I'm thinking about all these kind of things. Interesting. I think we've got to take all the fuel, go as long as possible so that you're not carrying all the weight. What we could actually do though is we could go as long as we can, because you know you've got a pit stop and take on fuel at the end. You could fill to the extent, run it dry, and then pit and go. Oh, he's pitted. Missed the guy up front's gone in with 0 fuel. What car was it? I didn't see. Oh. Well, there's an interesting choice of question. Who was he? He just nipped in the pit, so the Mr. Fernandez has also pitted. He's got 55% fuel. He's used a lot of fuel in 10 laps on medium tyres. He must be pitting for fuel, not tyre. He's got to be, hasn't he? I didn't actually see who it was. I didn't see. Oh, too busy chatting and working out the maths. And that is, folks, I'm just recanting how it actually happened in the race. I didn't actually see who it was. I do know who it is, but I'm not going to tell you that until the end, are we? Unless you know it. It's a bit of a surprise. So we're back into the 134s, fuel weights going, and I'm cleaning up my driving a bit. I'm out the lead, so I've got 11-second lead over the guy behind. Mr. Breyer, he's fell away to the back, hasn't he? So if we're putting in 134s, we're actually pulling away, which is interesting. And we can't see anybody. We're a long way from anybody in front of us. So we've got clean laps to run. We've got no slipstream. So how are we doing for fuel? How many more laps we've got? We've got 6 more laps. So with 6 more laps to go, and we haven't got a clue what the pit window is. My assumption is it's got to be 40 seconds. It's a long pit lane in, so they'll give us 20 seconds running in, change tyres, and then 20 seconds filling fuel, and a couple of seconds to come out. So it's going to be about 45 seconds, my guess. So at 45 seconds, where do you think we are? Top 10 or outside the top 10? 45 seconds. We're 12 seconds ahead of the pack. So we will probably come out in 7th or 8th if we pit now. Purple sector. Very nice. First sector's just in the purple, which is great. Fronts are slightly wearing more than the rears, so that's great because we've got better traction, so we just drive out the corners, but it's getting into the corner that's the problem, making that front end steer. This car steers well when you haven't got the gas down. It likes to grip and go, but it doesn't like to accelerate in the corner. And that's not a fault of the traction control, it's genuinely how the car is. I haven't fettled with its setup. I can probably play with it and get it to go, but this is about default cars for me. Slight twists, slight tunes, and go. Let's get the gold as quickly as we can. Let's make it simple. Let's not make it easy. Let's just make it straightforward. And did you notice we got a purple sector on the second one? So if we can get a 134.5, that would be great. Let's see what we do as we come through to take lap 12. It's the end of lap 11 coming up. What are we going to get? We got a 135.122, so not our fastest lap, but we're still cracking out time. We're 14.5 seconds ahead, making a nice smooth entry to that corner. And look at that, we are actually now catching the cars that have probably pitted for the first time. But then what we can aim to do, which would be good, would be to, before we start to catch the back markers, did you see that 0.2 something seconds up on the first sector? That's great. Lower fuel weight. Yeah, before we can actually start to pass the back markers, probably that we'll actually start to really be thinking about pitting. Tyres are actually quite handy. I wonder if we could have actually run mediums, you know. No, we couldn't, could we, because of the PP rating. The PP, we were just half a PP underneath the 620 target. There's a PP. We are 0.023 up, is that? 0.023, or was that 0.6? Didn't see it again, it was flashing before my eyes while I was talking. Mr. Inostra is still running a 1:34.233 as the fastest lap. Let's see if we can actually put in a decent lap time. So for 1:34, what do we think? A 1:34.384. Not bad. That's just a 1/10.5 off the target time. So let's see if we can improve on that with reducing fuel. Mr. Brayer's just gone in. He's on 50% fuel when he went for tyres. Oh my lord. So the Alpine is a good long running car if you can pick up the Alpine and run the race in that. Mr. Cruiser's gone in 36% fuel. But watch them, they're dropping right back out the window. They're into 8th place, having pitted from 2nd and 3rd respectively. Now they've dropped off. So 8th place is some way back. %fuel lift, some 3.5 laps, and 39 minutes to go. So take 4.5 minutes off that. That's 34 minutes. That's a little bit longer than I anticipated. Would it have been worthwhile pitting on the 20 minutes and only fueling what we needed back up to do the amount of laps that we needed to do? Say for example, we're only just really a minute past that 20-minute point, aren't we? So we could refuel to 80%, I would say, if we pitted now and just do it as 20-minute stints. So just fill back up to the 80% and we're fueling, running lighter. That would potentially work. We're 18 seconds ahead, is that? No, forgive me, that's 16.6. I'm quite a long way from the TV monitor, I should say. Where are we? Let's just take stock of what we're at. After setting a PB last lap out, that one was a 1:36.4, so we ran that lap 2 seconds slower for whatever reason. I didn't see a discernible point where we lost time. It just looks like we were lazy, I would say. So just while we're running these laps down to the pit stop, let's talk about what's coming next. We have got, I believe, 2 more of these to do. We've got Alsace in the classic cars. We've got Red Bull Ring in GR3s, GR2 class. I think it might be GR3, GR4. And then I think we've got a GR1 prototype. I've still yet to do the 2 the prototype missions from the cafe. I've got Sardinia to do. No, I've got St. Croix to do and Suzuka. And I think I found the car to do them in. Unfortunately, I've tried a few and I can't get these big boys to actually be drivable with just the basic mods. So I don't want to do any steering balance or toe in or toe out changes. I'm here to prove that it's capable as just an average driver to get gold and everything, and I think I've done well so far. Where are we? We've got 10% fuel less, 1.7 laps. Question is, are we going to make it round with enough to get a lap in, or are we going to just pit on lap 15? That's the question. Are we going to do, we're going to complete lap 15, or are we going to go 16? Yeah, think about it. There's the first tail ender as we bounce off the wall. That's starting to make me think we should pit. There's 2 cars in front. We're now 19 seconds ahead of Mr. Miazano. Mr. Inostra has come back to the front. He's made his way back from 8th in the field up through the field. That's purely because people are pitting in front of him, I would suggest. There's Mr. Mia. Ooh, what's his name? I can't read that. Mr. Cruz and... Is it Mr. Lane? Hay? However you say it, but that's an Audi TT gone behind us, and it looks like we're actually running the extra lap. We've got 0.9 laps on remaining on the fuel. That's taking matters into my own hands. That says 5% a lap, which would suggest we can do 20 laps. We know we definitely can't, so I think I might have made a boo-boo. I'm definitely going to have to fuel save now, aren't I? 21.6 seconds ahead. 0.7 of a lap of fuel left, which we had at this point last time. 0.6 by the fourth corner. We're catching another tail ender in a Genesis. Do like the paint job on the Genesis. Just get ahead of him around this corner, that's the way. So if we're 20 seconds ahead of the first car, the car in second place, we could be 20 seconds behind him with a pit stop if we're talking 40 seconds for a pit. If he pits with us, because I'm not sure Mr. Miazano has pitted, it would be interesting to see. But Mr. Inostra pitted on lap 10. We've got 0.2 laps of fuel. Get in there, do not miss the pit lane. That would be silly. We've floored it and into there we go. Going to put racing hards on and we're just going to let it fill up. 1% of fuel we came in, and that was pretty good timing. Worked out pretty well. Let's have a look at the leaders. We went in with 23 seconds ahead. And these are racing hards, aren't they? So they're the good grip tyres. In we go into the box. It's a good looking car, a bit battered though after hitting walls. We're dropped down to third place now. We are 32 seconds behind at this point. 40 seconds behind as we drop down to fourth. Oh my, how slow is that refueling? It's in percentages, so that must be a massive fuel tank on this bad boy. Must be huge. Look how slow that is. We're 56 seconds behind. 57. We're a minute behind in 8th place. And we've still got 40% to go. Holy chipotle. 11th place. 1 minute 13 off the front. Mr. Breyer's just gone past. We're in 12th. 13th, 14th. I did not expect that. We're back out in 11th because they haven't come past the end of the pit lane. And there he comes. Mr. Breyer is just behind us in the Alpine. So let's think back to where we were when we went past him. We haven't actually, I believe, lost anything. I believe he's pitted and we're actually on schedule. So it's the same problem from anybody. Slow fueling in the pit lane, it looks like. Which will explain why Mr. Inostra, who has gone back to the front, is now where he is. I think he's overtook Miazano on the road though, so that would suggest he's a long way out. But in 3 laps time, Mr. Inostra is going to pit, I would guess. And he'll pit from the lead. So where are we? We are 48 seconds off the front. And we're 8 seconds behind the car in front, and we have got to go some. But I've dropped my power down to 3. I've put it back to 4. Why? Why would I have done that? All I can think of is I need to run the car longer to be able to make the fuel because of that extremely painful pit stop. But I know I've got to pit again, so I genuinely have to pit again. I've got 31.50. So that was probably 32 minutes something, maybe 33 minutes when I came out the pit. I've actually only got to do 2 more laps and I can run all the way to the end. I can't afford to pit again like that. So if I can make that lap count, because I'm on lap 18 now, if I can make that lap count at the bottom give me a total of 34, 35 laps. So I need to pull 2 more laps of fuel out of this. I think we can run this race without pit again. If we can conserve a bit of fuel, let's see how we go. We're now dropping another 2 seconds behind the car in front. Think about it. What does that mean? That effectively means if we're losing 2 seconds a lap, Mr. Nostra's gone in the pits again. He's in the pits. Oh my lord. Potential 40-second pit stop. He's falling down the rankings. Mr. Miyazano, Mr. Yamanaka has gone in front. Gallows probably. Well, Gallows in 9th. He's not going to get anywhere near the front at that point. But we're 40 seconds off the front. I can't do the maths fast enough. I've gone down to power 6 because I'm thinking we need to conserve fuel here because I can't afford to pit for that long. Nostra is in the pit still, I think. As we go past, is he gonna come past us? Do we go up? No, he's out and away. I think he's in 8th place out of the pits. So we're behind him and we are ultimately not making progress. I still don't know what he is, if we're talking about what kind of car he is. He's got a heavy fuel consumption, that is for sure. So I've got 14.8 laps with 19 done. So call it 15, that's 25, 39, 29, that's 34 laps. Still need 2 more laps. We're under half an hour to go. 14.8 laps with under half an hour to go. I actually think we're now on target if I run fuel 6 all the way to the end. Mr. Miyazano's pitted with 34% of fuel, but it's again, look at that point, look how far away I am from the front. Is there a chance that he has to? I think he's probably pitted twice? Once. If he's only pitted once, this is only pit stop running to the end unless he's sacrificial on tyres. But we're 39 seconds off the front. Oh my lord. Am I doing the right thing? No. No. I need to run this as hard as I can. I need to catch. I'm too far off the front, look. 1:37s. That's 3 seconds a lap I'm giving away to people. 10 laps, that's 30 seconds. I can't afford that. I'd rather run those laps, 30 seconds in the pit, splash and dash. Let's do those last 5 laps. Last 6 laps, as I originally calculated. Have I messed up now? Have I given far too much time away by running 2 laps on safer fuel levels? I don't think that's very good. I think we might have made a fatal decision back then. But we just get, and we're not ahead of this Porsche. He's just wanted to push back. We've got past him. Let's go. These tyres haven't really shown any wear yet. A little bit on the front, a little bit appeared just on those rear tyres as I talked about it. Mr. Pinnell's in our back mirror. He's going to fall away. Now we've really got to drive. We've got to push now for the next 17 minutes. We've got to push as hard as we can and pit with around about 6 laps to go. Refuel and push to the line. That's what we've got to do. That's the plan. We're 37 seconds off the lead. If we can do the next 10 laps, we will be within 6 seconds at the front if they haven't pitted. And we've got a purple sector there, folks. Is the excitement building? Mr. Miyazano and Mr. Suswillow in front of us there, just showing us who they are. And at the 20 lap point, Mr. Inostra is back to 3rd. I don't know what he's driving. It must be immense. The Alpha 155 was in the pits as we went past, so That's another place gained. We've just put in a 1:34.987. Back on the click fast lap. So that's where we need to go. Need to tick them off. Tick, 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 tick. 13 laps of fuel left. So that takes us to 34. That's where we need to be. Roughly on target. But I think we still need to pit with 10 minutes to go. So 16 more minutes. 16 minutes at a minute and a half would be 10 laps, which will put us to 31, which would mean 3 laps to go. The maths are just flowing here. They might be all wrong, but this is what my brain does as we're racing. 78% of fuel, 3/4 of tank, 13 laps to go. 34 laps is the target we'd set ourselves to complete the race. I think we might just burn a bit more fuel. We're going to have to splash and dash, maybe. And I'd rather splash and dash with a few more laps to go than just one lap, because you can't make anything up in one lap. So Mr. Yamanaka has gone into the pits with 41% of fuel. So is he now going to pit and go to the end? One more pit stop. I've gone wide there. Why have I outbraked myself? There we go. Back behind that. I don't know, is it a 650? I think we've overtook it once. Will it tell us? Again, I'm going around the outside. I'm going around the outside, definitely. We've just gone past the Toyota. It is a 650S. Let's get past him, back past the Nissan Silvia. And away we go. Braking into turn 1. The 650's coming back. Is he going to put a shadow? There it is. The shadow's appeared on the left side of my screen. He's there, but we're going to put him behind us. We're up to 5th, 21 seconds off the lead. Mr. B. Beauvoir is out front with Mr. Inostra in 2nd place, so he's making massive grounds. He is pulling away, but I would suggest he's pitting again in around about 6 laps time, and if that's the case, we're going to be pitting at roughly the same time, which will make for a sparkling finish. If he is capable of running 1:34.2s, it's going to be a close race. Oh, NSX, we haven't seen Mr. Gallo in this race yet. Here we go, just pushing past him. No real dramas, got past him with ease. He gave us room. We were on a 34.455 last time out. We're half a second up, so this could be the first 33 if we can drive it to the end, braking at the correct point this time. Clip that apex, lift off the throttle, put the throttle in as we round the corner, and away we go, driving down to the line. Mr. Yamanaka ahead of us in 3rd place. Mr. Inostra has taken 1st as I was just describing my cornering capabilities. And we're driving to the line, hoping for something in the 1:34.1s. A 1:34.7, so we lost a bit of time there in that last quarter. And that lovely little GR is just a lovely car, the Supra. Even though it is a BMW Z4, it's still a nice looking car. Hasn't got a nicer turbo whistle as this bad boy. For those of you do know, I am a bit of a Subaru fanatic. 4 of a second up in that 1st sector. Let's try not to lose that now. 15.8 seconds off the lead and driving hard. Mr. Inostra is probably 3 laps away from a pit stop, which would be awesome. We're approaching that 20-minute, 2/3 of the race done point. And I am absolutely bunged up this evening, folks. If I sound a bit snotty and nasal, that's purely because I've got one of those pollen-y type, summery type sniffles. And I do apologise if it affects the quality of the recording. If you can't hear me clearly, I am supping on a drink just to make sure my whistle's wet as I'm talking to you. Don't want to really dry out. There we go, coming around for another lap. Let's see where we are on the timing. See if we can actually put in the fastest lap for this race. It'd be nice to claim it in every race that we've ever done. It's nice to take 1st place, fastest lap. There's no quali, so we can't take the triple crown, but we can at least do the double, which would be nice. 10 laps to go on my fuel gauge, which would say 15 minutes, which would mean we'll be pitting with 6 minutes to go, which would be 4 laps. 60% fuel. See how it's saying 0-0 then on the fuel gauge, as though there were no laps remaining. That's quite an interesting little thing, and please forgive me. I noticed it on another race. I've been doing a bit of practice for the Alsace one, and I tuned up a number of cars, and when you do a bit of odd tuning, the fuel gauge does go a little bit awry. 0.134 up on our previous fastest lap. Could be fun. So the tuning goes a little bit awry and the fueling goes off a bit, so I'm finding the challenge to get the car right for the Alsace event, which is coming up next. I'm going to record that after I've done this today. I'm actually going to give it a go. I think I've got the car ready. I think I'll be right, but what I haven't done, folks, and it's always the same, I haven't gone on the internet, I haven't explored, I haven't done what you guys are doing. I'm just trying to do it off my own back, make my own decisions. If I get it wrong, I get it wrong, and you don't get a video. Simple as that until I've done it. Oh, we blew that last corner. We've actually run 2 laps there in the 135s, which is pretty poor. That's a second down. We haven't really got excessive tyre wear. I'm just running a bit lax, a bit slack. We've got half the fuel. We're really good on the tyres. So here's the thing, we're not going to take tyres at the next pit. Car in front's getting blue flags, so we're lapping people. 14 seconds off the front. 2 cars ahead of us. I think both of those are lappers, because I think neither of them are 6 seconds ahead. So 14 seconds off Mr. Inostra. Is he really backing down? Is he running low on gas again? If he does 27 laps, he could be on. He's definitely on lap 25, same as we are. But in terms of around the outside of the Genesis, will we get him? No, we didn't. We're going to have to push up the outside. He gave us room. Well done, young man. Thank you, sir. Come down past the Audi TT, and there's 2 cars in front of us. Ooh. No, that's a lap car and Mr. Beauvoir. Inostra is out front, running lap 26, 15 seconds ahead. And we can see him. He's definitely that car going through the S's. About to make the right-hand turn under the tunnel now. So he's within sight. Lap 26, we're in 3rd place, 18 minutes to go. It says we can run 8 more laps, so let's do the maths. 8 laps is 12 minutes, so that means we've got 6 more minutes to go. We need to fuel for 6 minutes. We're up on the 1st sector, and we do this every time. We are really quick through the 1st sector and we blow it in the last 2. I think it's entry to the final hairpin and down the hill. I don't think we're losing it down the hill. I generally think we're losing it down. So there we go. We've taken 3 seconds out of Mr. Inostra. He's down 13 seconds ahead. You know what I'm going to think? If he pits any time sort of now, I'm going to pit as well. And with that, I genuinely think we need to calculate how many laps we need every time we go round. So we've got 7.4 laps. We've got 17 minutes less the refuel time. So let's call it 16 minutes. If we say 15 minutes after this lap, we would need 10 laps of fuel. So currently we need to stop for 10 laps. We would need 3 more laps of fuel to fill up. He's still 12 seconds ahead, but Mr. Beauvoir is only now 2.5 seconds ahead. What car is that he's in? Beauvoir is in the R34. Yeah, R34. Gone round it quite quickly. That wasn't Mr. Beauvoir, was it? Donkey. That's Mr. Beauvoir ahead. And he's putting on a little chase. Ah, it's the little Renault Sport, Megane Sport, isn't it? That's a lovely car. I do like that. We've blown that corner. Well done. Oh, come on, focus on the race. Focus on the race. So if we pitted now, 15 minutes to go, pit the end of this lap. That'll be 10 laps of fuel we would need. So we would have to re-lap. We'd have to refuel 4 laps. So we'd pull out of the pits with 10 laps to go on the fuel gauge. It's quite an interesting way of thinking about it in my head. Beauvoir has not pitted. This Nostra has not pitted. Am I worried that we can't win this race? I know we're going to have to pit. I've got to hope they're going to have to pit. So now we would pit for 9 laps of fuel. With 6 laps remaining, that gives us 15 laps of fuel. Trying to get past him, he's fighting back. I think we've only got 10 laps of fuel, so we'd only actually still need 4 laps. So where have I got that maths from? I don't know. Let's do it again in my head. And this is what happens when I'm driving. I do confuse myself. You're thinking about, I haven't got a pit wall to do it, so I'm thinking about it all myself. So in terms of that, we're 8 seconds off the lead car. We're a second ahead of the guy behind us, so we don't need to worry about that. We've got 10 laps of the race left to go because there's less than 15 minutes. I've got 6. I'm going to need 5. I'm going to have to stop to make sure we've got 9 laps of fuel. That's correct. Add 4 more. I was right. Just confusing myself. And hopefully you'll get that if you do this kind of racing yourself and don't just religiously go out and just do as I tell you to. Hopefully you're picking your own cars. If you are doing it because I've done it, you're going to try it out yourself and say, oh yeah, it is how he says it is. And just think, yeah, happy days. Inostra's gone in, he's pitted then. What's the plan? What are we going to do? We're going to do another lap. He's in with 0 fuel, so he went all the way to the end. We've got a 3 second lead over Mr. Beauvoir. So if we were to stop, oh my lord. Oh, it doesn't bear thinking about. Should I have just stopped at the same time as he has? Knowing I've only got X amount of fuel to take on board and he's got more because he's at 0. So he'd actually be stationary a lot longer than me. And we're not taking tyres. Because looking at the quality of the tyres, we're good. Mr. Netto, we are going for it, my friend. Even though I did this a couple of days ago and I know the outcome, I am still a little bit, got that feeling of, oh, I've made the right choice. So 4.7 laps of fuel remaining, got 13 minutes. I still think I need another 4 laps, so it'll be 9 laps of fuel when we leave. It'll be 8 laps of fuel when we get to the end of this, won't it? So, oh, still purple sectoring, that's great, down to 27% fuel. Let's see if we can set a PB here. Let's see if we can get that fastest lap. We've missed that apex again. We've just braked way too late. Come on. 6.7 seconds ahead. I think the right thing to do is to pit at 10 minutes and have 6 laps of fuel as we leave with 10 minutes. 6 laps at a minute and a half is 10 minutes or more. And not forgetting, it's an extra lap. If you cross the line when it's already 0, race is over. But if you've crossed the line and it changes, you run to the complete lap. So, ooh, could we squeeze an extra lap in? I'm trying to be greedy now, I think, as well as trying to win the race from first place when we know we've got a pit. Mr. Beauvoir is only 7 seconds behind, and we're half a second down on that lap time. That's not very good. We've just come up to lap 15th place. And that's a little Suzuki Swift. Nicely done. 9.5 seconds ahead of second place, which I'm thinking is a pit stop for tyres only, no fuel, and we've got to take fuel, we know that. We're still purple sectoring on that second sector. Let's see if we can actually brake on the point and see if we can clip that apex. We've just missed it again, run a little bit wide, and we're slow on the gas getting out that corner, which is disappointing. 20% left of fuel, 11 minutes to go. We look like we're raging down the hill. We're not pitting yet. I think we'll pit the next lap. If I was me and I was doing this all over again, that's 30 laps done. 10 laps to go. Sorry, 10 minutes to go, 11 minutes to go. There's still another 6 laps in this. Could we have run 36 laps when I was estimating 34 earlier? That's the power of running on fuel economy 1. Fuel economy 1. Fuel usage 1. Fuel map 1. That's what we need to be saying. I don't have to talk some rubbish sometimes, folks, and I apologise for that. I mean, after an hour you must be fed up at my voice. And we've done 6 of these, 5 of these, got 3 more to go. So you've heard 5 hours of me constantly blathering on about these damn races. Only 3 to go, folks, only 3 to go. Let's update ourselves on where we are. 31 laps down. Alexa's about to chirp up. Alexa, stop. Thank you. So, with that being the case, Mr. Inostra is still pushing out the fastest lap, but he's in 7th place. So is he actually going to come through after his pit stop with potentially 9 minutes 37 to go? That means he's closing in, he's getting quicker. Are we going to pit in? We have. We've gone with what I thought we would do through there. We're not going to change tyres, and we need to run 6 laps. I believe. I know we're in 9 minutes something to go, 9 minutes 16. But if we take on 4 more laps of fuel now, taking us to, I don't know, 6.5, I think that would be enough. We've lost first place now to Mr. Beauvoir. It's such a slow fill-up. Look at it. Mr. Miyazzano, Mr. Suswillow, Mr. Yamanaka, Mr. Gallo, Mr. Inostra. We came out at 6.2. We got itchy on the trigger. We're back out in 3rd, 4th, 5th. And they're so tightly grouped. Where's Mr. Inostra? He's behind us. He's some 2 seconds behind us. And can we see what car it is? Because we've never seen him in this race. What is it? I don't know what it is. We've just dispatched the Nissan. We've got the 650S in front of us in 3rd place. The GR86 is there, I think, in front of him. GR86? No, it's the GR Supra. Let's get that right. And Mr. Beauvoir is in the Renault Sport. So he's some 13 seconds ahead. We've got 8 minutes left to go. So that's potentially 6 laps, including the one we're on, 5.8. To catch him. So let's dispatch Miyazzano. Let's get him done and out of the way. 2nd place is now in our sights. Mr. Yamanaka in the Toyota Supra GR. Lovely car. Do like it. I've said that before. Can we take him on this corner? Can we outbrake him? Oh, we've just shot through. We lifted on the brakes and pulsed them just to try and prevent us pummeling into his side. But he let us go. We accelerated quickly out that corner. So 11 seconds behind Mr. Beauvoir. Here's the thing though. Can we take 11 seconds in the next 7 minutes? Mr. Inostra, did we see the car? Did we know what it is? Genuinely, if I was to do the math back now, the only car we haven't seen, the one from the potential adversaries, the ones you're going to be racing against, is the electric Porsche, which, if it is, it's rapidly quick, and that'll explain why he was pitting for battery power. I don't know whether they changed the battery or actually charge him up. I don't know. I've never actually tried to pit with that car. I don't think I've run it, actually. Okay. So this will be our first complete lap out of the pits. Have we got the opportunity to actually set a fastest lap here, take the fastest lap of the race? We've taken approximately 2 seconds out of Mr. Beauvoir in the last 3/4 of a lap, so with 6 minutes to go and there's 4 laps to go, there's a chance we can win this if Mr. Beauvoir keeps on plumbing. Back off, let's just see if we can hit this apex. 4.4 laps of fuel, which takes us, you just realised, 4.3 laps of fuel will take us to 6 minutes. If I go that quick, there's a chance I can throw in a 5th lap, and I haven't got the fuel for the 5th lap. No way. The only thing I can... maths. The laps aren't 1 minute 30, are they? They're 1 minute 34, 35, 36. The last lap was a 1:36, 1:71. I can't afford to be running that slow. We're 7 seconds behind him. Looks like he's trying to save fuel, because he might have done exactly what we've done. A 1/4 of a second up on that first time indicator, that first sector. We're definitely going to outstrip 34 laps, aren't we? Because we're on lap 34 now. We've got to get past these two. Let's not dawdle. Let's get past that. Lean on him a little bit. Past that Swift. I know there's those guys out there that watch this that do like the Suzuki Swift, and I apologise profusely for rubbing him up, but there we go. We're down to the final hairpin on the bend, some 4 seconds behind the lead car. There he is in our sights. We've got 4 minutes left to run, potentially 3 laps, 3.4 laps of fuel. I know it's false. Genuinely, as I was driving down here, I was thinking this could go to an extra lap, and I haven't got the fuel. I generally haven't got it. I've only got 3 laps, and there's a chance. I don't think there is a chance. I can't back off though. With 3 laps to go, 4.5 minutes. We're under 4.5 minutes. Clearly, I reckon I've got the fuel now. Let's just go for it. 3 minutes is 4.5. 3 laps is 4 minutes 50. Yeah. I think we're just gonna make it. We're 2 seconds behind. Keep pushing. We're 0.2 behind our fastest. That was a 1:35 last lap out. It's the final bend, isn't it, where we're messing it up. And through here, I think we're just braking a lot too much. What kind of English is that? So here we are, Mr. Beauvoir. We're with him. Where's Inostra? He is some 6 seconds behind now. He's keeping up with us. And we're ploughing past Mr. Beauvoir. We got him easy. He's conserving fuel. He's about out. He's going to have to pit, I think. Has he cut it too short? I do know of AIs in previous races. I think we've discussed this before, where the pit strategy is a little bit irregular. Now, if I'm anybody for anybody, I'm going to throw that fuel gauge back to 6, and I'm just going to keep driving. And if I see Inostra overtake Beauvoir, I'm going to worry. I just need to make sure I've got fuel for that last lap. There's definitely 2 laps left, because we're at 2:20, and that'll mean we're going to cross the line with around about 40 seconds to go. Rough. Inostra hasn't come past Beauvoir, and he's some 2 seconds back. He was 6 seconds behind us before we overtook, so I expect him to be around about 2 seconds behind Beauvoir, and I think Beauvoir will lose those 2 seconds to Mr. Inostra as we cross the pit lane. Start. Just doing the math. I think we're good for fuel. We've been down here with 0.7 before. We're 3 seconds up on Beauvoir. Come on, keep running, keep running. We've dropped it to 4, so we are conserving fuel now. We're thinking about it. We can afford to drop a couple of seconds off to Beauvoir, knowing that Inostra is coming and he can only run a lap a couple of tenths quicker than us if we want the perfect last lap. Our last lap was in the 134s, which is great. Fuel lights flashing. What did I say? 40 seconds as we went over the line. We have definitely 1 lap left. So we've got the right amount of fuel. We made that right call at the last pit stop. You know, I think we've got this. Inostra still hasn't overtaken Beauvoir. We're seeing if Beauvoir's going to pit. He hasn't. Inostra hasn't pitted, so they're both coming for us. We're running fuel map 4. We've got 1.3 laps of fuel left, so we've got enough. We came over the line with something like 45 seconds to go. There they are. Can you see them in the mirror? I saw them. Beauvoir and Inostra are with each other. Make it round this corner. We're good on fuel. We're 3.7 seconds ahead. No mistakes. No mistakes. I've had one particular bad incident this race. There was 3 in the last race. We're actually pulling out time. Look, up to 4 seconds almost. I saw 4 seconds flick up there. Nice and clean around this corner. 1 lap of fuel to go. We can now flick it back happily to 1 on the old fuel conservator. There it goes. It back to 1, and away we go. We're up 5 seconds, so we made a second on him as we flick back on the fuel map. Inostra's made it past Beauvoir, so he is coming for us. He's charging, but hopefully, fingers crossed, he's not got the legs. We're just going to make this turn, the last one, and we're going to charge for the line, and that should see us bring in the, I'll say, comfortable. It's been a fight all the way through. We've never known we've got this. It's been superb. I've really enjoyed this race. This is one I like. This is the kind of style of race I like to do. I'm not going to just run there because it's easy. And as we take the line, we are some 4.6 seconds ahead. We're in first place, so that's the full-on gold. And I think we were on lap, I don't remember, lap 37. It just popped up in front of us. There we go. But I've no idea where that'll put us in the tree against the fastest or the guys at the top. 4.5 seconds ahead of Mr. Inostra, and we lapped up to 10th, which is pretty awesome. Pretty happy with that. And there we go, folks. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye now.